Welcome back on board the Starship. I'm talking with John Irwin, who was singled out in the late 1950s when he was in the army to join a covert assassination squad which operated throughout the Middle East. Now, John, we were talking about the training techniques, and can you start by explaining how the techniques were given to you? Because I know you've actually left some of the information out of your book because you didn't think that people would believe you.
That's
right?
correct. Yeah.
So when you went to the hangar in your initiation of this training, you spent 4 days there, but you thought you were only there for a day, but you were there for 4 days. So
Exactly.
can you explain what happened to you?
Okay. Right. Actually in the book, I say I spent a few weeks learning all these moves, but in reality I didn't. What happened was they've got to try to insert these skills into your conscious brain. You see, just like you do, like you see when you're driving a car.
Subconscious brain.
Subconscious, yeah. You switch up your conscious brain to get it into your subconscious brain, right? And the idea is to show you all these moves in a short period of time, and it's like a tape recorder. It records things. So how to start off? Ken, I was sitting at this table, and like you see, he was just talking to us in general about life, what life was all about, and he literally destroys your life.
Right.
He says, when you're born, you come into this world, and you're destined to die. You're going to die, and he kept on mentioning this all the time, that you're definitely going to die. You see, and he just makes life sound a total waste of space.
He was showing you pictures of people.
Old people, yeah.
Old
people dying of various different diseases, cancer and things like that. And at the end of the day, what you just want to do is commit suicide because you can't see any point.
So he was trying to break you down.
Yeah, he was breaking it. Yeah. So this went on all day, right? To the point where he puts a revolver in front of us, and I pick it up and I want to shoot myself because you see, I'm going to die anyway. So why go through all that?
Right.
I may as well leave now. You see, but I'm so tired and weak when I pick the gun up, and then he stops us. It was after that when he said, Dynamo came and said, do you want a cup of tea, Geordie?
Because that was your name in the group, Geordie.
Yeah.
Of the four.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Well, yeah. But the thing is, when he was asking us if I want a cup of tea, 4 days had gone by.
Right.
So what point that actually...
And he was spinning a coin all the time on the desk, you
yeah,
said in the book, how... So you thought you fell asleep at the desk and woke up...
So when he was asking us if I wanted a cup of tea, there's somewhere, when I picked that gun up and put the gun... When he told us to put the gun down, he said, your mom didn't bring you in this world for nothing. There's a reason for it. And then he started going through all the reasons. Right. And then after that is when I felt that it was the end of this program thing.
Right.
And I asked us if I wanted a cup of tea. But what I didn't realise that 4 days had actually gone by after the point where he was saying, your mom didn't bring you in this world for nothing. You don't want to disappoint her. There's a reason for you being here. Right. And that's when, like I said, at the end of the... It was 4 days had actually gone by. I didn't know. And then my mouth was hurting this. I had lost 4 teeth.
You lost 4 teeth?
Yeah.
Right.
And I had, my mouth was swollen.
Right.
I had, like, scratch marks on my arms.
Right.
A cut, very small cuts on my palm of my hands. And I was so numb, and the feelings were coming back, and that's when I started to realise that
something had happened.
Something had happened to us.
So what you then found out was that over this 4-day period, you'd been given some sort of...
They implanted what they called a machine.
They implanted something into your subconscious, trained you somehow. Yeah. And you said that your conscious brain had to learn what your subconscious brain had been taught, and they did that by, they would practice on you, they would try and attack you with a baton or something, and then suddenly...
Well, also, they had to disarm guns and things like this.
You would automatically do a move, and then you would say, well, where does that come from?
Yeah, so that's right. Well, it was like, It was like, you know, like say, it was like being able to jump in a car
And drive without
and
being
drive
taught.
without being taught.
Aye.
Yeah.
So,
But, yeah.
so how many moves would you? Because did they teach you? Do you think you learned when you were under this hypnosis?
Well, there's the basics.
If it was hypnosis.
Yeah. Okay. Whatever it was, you have a basics of 60 basic
60
moves.
60 moves.
The 60, yeah. 30 which you can practice, which entails them all in a way.
Right.
Right. It's like one after the other, and as I said, we're not allowed to use our fists. We weren't allowed to kick. And of course, when you say that, the people say, "Well,
how would you disable someone?"
yeah, exactly. So, but like you say, until you've seen it, then you understand.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of psychology involved as well. You know, they go into the animal brain and what it's about, which they call the reptilian brain today, right? Which came out in 70-something, the reptilian brain. But it was actually called the animal brain, because fear.
Your instincts, basically, isn't it?
Well,
That's
it's an, like you say, it's a survival brain.
Yes.
If you want.
So essentially, what they're doing is they've given you, they've put something into you which becomes an instinct in you, essentially.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So if you're attacked, that
it's
training
again,
takes over without you thinking about it.
The animal brain, you see, is your protection. Is the one that supplies the various chemicals that makes you angry, makes you, feel love and what have you, and fear. And it's fear that's your biggest problem. When you're confronted with something that can kill you, that's where your problems arise. You see, so the messages come from the conscious brain to the reptilian brain, right? So whatever it says is reported back to the animal brain, and if it's all danger, you'll panic.
Right.
You see, so once the conscious brain is being taught to react in a certain way where nothing is dangerous. Do you understand?
Yes.
For a better way of putting it, the right messages get through.
So you don't panic.
So I won't panic.
Yeah.
So I've lost the fear.
Yeah.
You see, I know I can handle it.
And just to summarise the sort of philosophy behind the technique, it's essentially you would never ever allow anyone to know that you are in control. You would never show aggression. You would never act big. And the idea is to try and get
if you look dangerous,
close to someone.
you'll alert the enemy.
Yeah.
You see, if you look at threatening,
the whole techniques rely on getting close within that far.
Well,
the
if you
enemy,
want to take a gun,
and then disable them in
well,
close quarters.
if someone's got a gun and a rifle, and your enemy, and he knows you're the enemy, the chances of getting very close to him, he's either going to tell you to get down on the floor, where somebody else ties you up or whatever, or he's going to shoot you straight away.
Yeah.
To enable you to get close enough to take a damn gun, you've got to have the ability to give them the impression that they're in charge and they've got nothing to worry about.
Yeah.
And therefore they'll come towards you.
Yeah.
Of course, that's another.
That's subterfuge, sort of pretending that you're.
Yeah, well, there's a great deal of training goes into that.
Yeah.
You see, but if I'm standing there with a damn uniform on, with a gun at my side, he's going to shoot us straight away.
Right.
So you're not going to get close enough.
Right.
You see, and then he'd probably have his pals as well. So not only have I got to take the gun off him, I've always got to be able to take his pals out as well. But don't forget, this is planned well in advance, so I know what I'm coming up against before I get there. I'm not the sort of guy, we weren't trained to suddenly be surprised and find myself in a situation where it's hopeless. No, it's all calculated. Everything's calculated, because if it wasn't, you're not going to survive. It's as simple as that.
All right, John. Well, let's come on to the mission in Jaraba.
We are come through, Lebanon. Yeah.
Right, through Lebanon to get there.
To a place called Jaraba, yeah.
And you crossed over the River Jordan.
This is on the borders of Israel and Syria.
Right.
Yeah,
and you didn't even know who was controlling the camp that you were going to raid.
No idea.
They didn't tell you that. Yeah. But I want to come on to that because you said that. So this is another mission that we haven't discussed yet. You said that when you were sent there and you were walking towards, you were a few miles from
approximately 2 miles.
About 2 miles
from this
tell me
camp.
what you witnessed.
Well, we had just crossed the River Jordan, which was a Pacific part of the river, because some are too wide to get across, obviously.
Okay.
Yeah. So we just got across the River Jordan, right? And a few hundred yards from the river, heading towards in the direction we needed to be in. Again, it would be in a direction of east. Then, out of the blue, I just saw these lights appear in the distance, and as they were leaving the ground, I just saw the lights. But then the ship came into view because it was moonlight night,
right?
And it was reflecting on them, and they looked like flying saucers. They were circular, they're lights, and they were gigantic things.
Right.
You see, and when I turned around and said, "Look at that," I was told to be quiet. They weren't surprised at all.
So do they make any noise, these flying saucers?
None whatsoever.
Right. Now it's interesting that you say that, because I've interviewed David Caton, who was stationed in Cyprus in 1957-58, and there were at least 2 sightings of UFOs in 1958, and they were picked up on radar, on Trudos, you know, and in I believe Malta, they were picked up there.
Yeah.
So that kind of ties in with the cases that David Caton has catalogued. So that's intriguing, because there's no way you knew that. Because I showed you the video the other day of that, and you were like, "Oh, right, okay," you know what I mean? So carry on. You approached this camp.
Yeah, and like I said, we kept quiet about. Had to keep quiet about what we saw, and the guys that I was with didn't show any signs that they'd even seen it, but obviously they had. So we made our way towards the camp. We're going on top of this hill, looking down on the camp. We've been told that for the party hadn't arrived yet. You see, so
these were the people who you were meant to kill.
So there was 2 military at the time that was coming in, and 2 what I thought were civilians. I was told they were dressed as civilians.
Right.
You see, so again, because of the mountains and the hillside, the road kept disappearing. Right. In other words, anything coming around the road would keep vanishing, and then you would see it again. So we couldn't actually see who was in, because it was dark. So I had to get right down there, right on the side of the road on this little hill, looking in, and actually stopped at one point, and I did get a glimpse inside.
Right. So you, in this operation, you never went into the compound. You were outside with your gun, and you opened fire on the compound when the other guy went in.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, we went through the toilets. He got dressed up as one of them because he killed one of them in the toilets. Headed towards the main gate with 2 guards in the main gate. And our object, the exercise, theirs was to run down the corridor, because we knew from where we were standing, we could see in the building. We knew where these people were. He went down when we opened fire. The 2 guards dashed in. He dashed in with them, and he gone.
So you thought at that time that the operation was to take out these 4 guys who were having this secret meeting, but
there was more than 4. There was
more than 4.
Yeah, there was already people there.
There. So, but it was only when your colleague came out with this box saying, "I've got it," that you later found out that the real purpose of the mission was, tell us,
to get this box.
Right.
Well, you know, and like I said, when we left the place, and you know, we made a real mess of it, and when you weren't being followed, when we got back over the River Jordan, when you was in a safe area,
and they were saying, "Have you got it? Did you get it?"
Yeah, well, we knew they had got it.
Yeah. And you didn't know what the hell they were talking about.
Yeah, and they were trying to open this. They were trying to open the box, and we had what?
So it's a wooden box. If you describe.
Well, it looked like ivory, black ivory. That's what it looked like.
Right.
Like a plasticky, right?
So
and they were trying to open. They couldn't open it. And we had camouflage coats, and we had formed a circle and so we could use our torches to have a look at it, and they couldn't open it. And Ken says, "Here, let's have a look," and all underneath these covers, shining light on it. He pressed the what looked like the 4 corners, and the thing opened, and inside, when he took this red velvet cloth out, and he laid it on the ground, we found there was 2 what looked like glass, about half an inch thick, 3 inches wide, 8 inches long, or 7 inches
Right.
long.
So just like
And there was two of them.
two slabs of glass.
And I had like grooves, like like the old-fashioned records had on top.
Grooves on the top.
At that time, and I said, "You mean to tell me that's it? That's what we risk our life for, you know?"
Yeah.
And we were shining our torches on it, and then suddenly they started to glow.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, literally started to glow, as though we're charging them up.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the sunlight, the torchlight,
Uh-huh.
and like I said, there was coloured lights coming off it, just like they have in these old dance halls. You know,
Sound like
these
some
balls.
kind of crystal or
I don't know what they
something.
were. Anyway, he
Yeah.
said, "Oh, that's it." Ken said, "That's it," and then wrapped them back up, put them in the box, and give it to what we call the carriers. Give it to them, and they went off with it. You see, we just went back.
And you haven't a clue what that was for.
I had no idea what
you,
they were for.
But you did tell me that you thought that there were at least...
They had said, I heard them discussing it, saying that, they said, "Well, is that it?" I said, "No, there's actually another 2 more boxes."
So another four of these objects.
Yeah, and that's when, I think it was Chalky or Spot had said, "Is that what we're doing in Egypt?"
Uh-huh.
You see? And they said, "Well, the other 4 is useless without these 2.
So when you went to Cairo, you weren't aware of it, but you were possibly, that was the mission.
Yeah.
You thought you were just going in to take someone out, but really the information you weren't given is that you were trying to get another one of these boxes.
Yeah, exactly.
And there's
yeah.
supposedly 3 of them. So there's at least 6 of these
Glass things. Yeah.
So they must be damn important if they're specifically training you and these other guys to come and get them.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it is very curious that you saw a UFO come down as well. So, because you'd never fully understood who you were actually working for. I mean, it sounded like a British outfit, but you felt that they were working against some particular group, possibly the Bilderberg group.
Yeah. Well, like I said, they had mentioned that these people in this building was part of a group of people who were planning, like you say, domination of the world.
I've got a few quotes here. I'll quickly read these out. This is what this Ken guy, who was your boss effectively in that program, said. This is actually, I think this is you saying this when you've been given this training under some kind of hypnosis. "I just can't see how that's possible, to physically take part in something over 4 days and not remember anything about it. How is that possible? We know how it's done. They taught us."
Yeah.
Who taught you? Look, you don't need to know. You don't need to remember. The 3 of them now sat down at the table while Dynamo continued to talk. So they're saying someone taught them, but you don't need to know that.
Yeah.
And then he goes on to say, who are they? "Oh no, Geordie, we can't go down that road because we don't even know who they are." The people who give them the training. Yeah. They don't know who they are. And then Ken gave me another brief smile. "Now that's a good question. All I can say is that there are people at the top, the very top, who control the gold, the money, the oil. In fact, they control just about everything, including the army and the government. These people are greedy, evil bastards who are not satisfied with what they have got, and they want to rule the world and everything in it. And they're getting help from even higher places. They have meetings every year, just planning that. And we are going to stop them, Geordie." So you think they may have been referring to the Bilderberg group there?
Well, now, I mean, I know.
You didn't know then.
No, I didn't know then. But again, they said,
and then it
this
says,
advanced technology that I've gathered.
It says they have meetings every year, just planning that, and we are going to try and stop them, Geordie. Without that certain technology, they will find it difficult to achieve it. Our job is to try and stop them.
That's right.
So that's presumably what taking these. So we can put 2 and 2 together and then say that this box was some sort of technology.
Yeah.
So, you know,
Read
I mean,
between
my
the
mind
lines,
goes to the fact that it was possibly alien technology that the Bilderberg group or someone had or some group had that they were fighting over.
Well, it's gradually coming out now, isn't it? Slowly but surely,
I mean,
there's more evidence of that.
You claim that the reason why you wrote the book was because you would like to try and find some of these other 16 who were in your group.
Of course, again, there'll be a lot older than what
They'll be in their late 70s?
They'll be in their 80s now.
Or 80s.
Well, I'm 72, and they were 5, 6, 7 years older than me.
So they'll be in their late 70s.
Yeah.
So, you know, if anyone knows anyone who was in a covert assassination squad, whose father or grandfather, you know, spoke about this, you know, it would be good to get corroboration from somebody else, John. Because as you say, that's why you wrote the book, to try and find.
That's the main reason I wrote the book. Yeah.
Right.
Of course, that book now isn't available. It's off the market. But there's a new book coming out now.
The new book has, or will have, the chapter where it's fully explained about the glass.
The chapters that are missing from it, yeah.
Right. So, and again, if anyone has any idea of what these glass items might have been in the box that they need 6 of or 8 of to make it work, it's a piece of, looks like a piece of glass which you say is 8 inches long by ½ an inch thick and 3 inches wide, and it's got grooves on it, and it lights
like
up.
An old-fashioned record, yeah.
All right. All right, John, it is a fascinating story. And where can people get a hold of this from? Did you say it's out of print?
There's still an old copy on Amazon. But
Amazon.
Yeah, but George Green from America.
George Green.
Yeah, who assisted Clinton.
Right.
He's a millionaire. He is now in the process of he's putting it back on the market with the chapters in, as far as I understand.
Right. And you have got a website, haven't you, John?
I have got a website.
What's
it's
that called?
ucsdefense.com.
ucsdefense.com. Okay, and I'd be intrigued for anyone to contact me who can shed any light on any of the information in this show. If they contact me or contact John, we'll be very interested to hear from you. So thanks very much indeed for coming on board today,
pleasure.
John. It's been very interesting talking to you. And, you know, I hope we'll get some feedback on this, because I'm fascinated by it.
Yeah,
okay.
So am I.
So it just remains for me to say, keep your eyes on the skies, keep your feet on the ground, and tell all your friends about this show. I will be speaking in Newcastle upon Tyne on Thursday the 7th of October 2010. Doors open at 7 p.m. For full details, log on to the website richplanet.net.